Hey friends, this is Rifa. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, we're going to set up my August bullet journal for the year. For the next month, I've chosen a theme that my patrons kindly chose for me, and I'm really happy how the theme turned out. So let's get started. For this theme, I have gone with a gray fine liner from Unipin pen to draw out the illustrations because I didn't want to go with any black pen in this whole setup rather than some titles and extra stuffs, because it kind of felt that if I use any black pen it might look overbold because the color scheme I've chosen was very bold. So for the cover page, as you can see that I'm using this gray fine liner from Unipin pen to draw out the illustrations, and basically here I just drew two tents. One is a triangular larger tent and the another one is more like dome shaped tent that is a bit smaller and little far away. Besides that, I have added a few rocks for fire pit, and I didn't want to outline the fire actually. So the color scheme that I've gone for this whole setup is very vibrant. I've chosen a few brown shades, one chrome yellow shade or orange shade for the tints, and a very light sky blue color for the sky. And for the ground or the grasses, I've chosen two of the brush pens which has a very light green color, and one is the asparagus color, which is my favorite. And for the other elements, I've chosen a very light pink color and a gray brush pen for the shadows. And I'll also use one gray color here, which you'll see for the header later, which is basically from the mild liner pen. And that's it for the supplies or the colors or brush pens that I'm going to use for coloring out the illustration. Here I just wanted to make a whole circular background for this illustration. Basically there will be a ground and sky in the circle, and the rest of the illustrations are a bit floating out from the circle, if that makes sense. So for the color scheme, I really wanted to go with very sunsetty, darker colors, but the brush pens and markers that I have don't gave me the opportunity to go with that boldness, because I practiced 4 times to create a sensitive theme with those markers and brush pens that I have, but the whole thing was looking so odd and very ugly. That wasn't my cup of tea. If I have gone with those scheme, I might have used paints like gouache paint. I just skipped those because I didn't want to go overbold on this theme and make this theme looks more doodly, not artistic. So that's why this theme is very limited to vibrant colors, and I think that makes it more summery than this theme that I was visualizing. And yeah, that's it. And I think I'll be posting the practiced shades that I have done before this whole setup on my Patreon exclusive posts. Normally I don't practice, but this theme was in my head for such a long time that I knew that with the colors that I have in my head cannot be put together. That's why I practiced. Normally I don't practice at all, and after making the whole setup I regret a bit when they don't turn out good, and I always think that I should have practiced before making this cover page or the theme. For the sky, I have gone with this very light sky color, as you can see here, and for the tents I've gone with this chrome orange color. I think this is the lightest shade of chrome orange that I have. And I have put in the header in the sky on the top of this illustration because I wanted to cover this space a bit so that I don't have to illustrate too much in the sky. And I'm using a cool gray tone from neutral palette of zebra mind liners. To make this lettering pop out, I have placed a bit of white spaces around this lettering, and I also added a bit of shadow around this lettering. Here, as you can see, that I added gray shadow around those lettering where this is out of the background circle. So for the shadows, for the tints, I'm using the same brush pen twice so that it looks more darker in the paper. I didn't want to go with any other colors for the shadows, but I felt like if I use these colors, it will look more vibrant. That's why I have added another medium in this illustration, which is crayons. And I found the same exact shades that I'm using here. I think it turned out pretty cool after using these crayons into this illustration. And I was a bit scared to use that green color multiple times because it's too vibrant and it looks too neon-y if I use these brush pens, like this green brush pen, multiple times. That's why I think I have done a better job to select the crayon shades for the shadows. So that's it for this illustration. Underneath the illustration, I have a bit of spaces, so I added this banner which are telling summer camp. And besides that, I have drawn grass doodles in this place. Also, I wanted to add the mini calendar that I have in my shop because I have a few stickers laying out there and I don't think that they're going to be sold out because we are almost in the end of the year. So that's why I'm using it by my own, and even though I would like to say that they are on sale, if you want, you can purchase them. So that's it for this cover page. Oh, one thing I wanted to tell you, that the mini calendar has these headers which I don't like. That's why for my Patreon cover page I just excluded the header here because headers are playing multiple times here. So I hope that makes sense to you. And I also have a blank version without the title and the calendar on my Patreon Pearl Style. If you don't know, I have a Patreon page where I give my patrons or the member of my Patreon to use printable version of my own illustrations, and as well as there are two tires which has the same physical reverse. Basically, I post two of my sticker sheets or one of my sticker sheet along with two die cut stickers for my patrons, and there are some other rewards on Patreon. So if you don't know about my Patreon page, please go and check that out because I think you can get multiple things from me as a reward if you join in my Patreon, and you can use them every month or any month you want. So yeah, that's it, and let's jump into the next spread, which is my calendar spread. The calendar spread is basically very minimal. As you can see here, I just added the headers in the top, and there is a Polaroid camera in the top along with a little header because I didn't want to go overboard with the calendars like my previous months because my cover page is too much in my sense. So I think this calendar layout works for me for a few months because I don't write too much stuff in the calendar spread nowadays, but I like a calendar spread which holds overview of my schedules and month. And also for the calendar spread, I have gone with 4x5 grid spaces because they are the standard space for my A5 journal. And I've been doing this for years, so I don't need the grid spacing cheat sheet for this layout. And that's it for the cover page and calendar page. And the next spread I'm going to make is my tracker spread. So the first tracker I'm making here is the habit tracker. I am going with 6 habits this month again, like the previous month, and I would like to tell you that the whole layout of this tracker spread is basically inspired by my own tracker spread from last month because I really don't have a particular spread ideas for these 3 trackers in a combined way. That's why I'm going to copy that layout again, and I believe it worked for me in July, so it will going to work for me in August too. And I believe that the mood tracker I'm making here is my favorite because it looks very cool after I colored them out, and also the habit trackers look more minimal and useful. the whole illustrations that I'm going to do are just came out of my head. Honestly, I couldn't go for a proper research before doing this whole setup due to the internet wasn't available for 6 days in my country. So that's why I try to go with the thoughts that I had for quite a long time. When I started researching about my August theme, I only searched for a few doodles which I'm going to work for my shop, and then I thought that I can make this my August theme. As well as I really wanted to go with another rainy season theme, but summer is going to be end very soon in August, and so I really didn't want to go with any summer or rainy themes for September. That's why I just put a poll in my Patreon, which was basically for the patrons or the members who have joined both in paid and free versions, and the maximum people chose the summer camp theme. I was very lucky because I really wanted to go for a summer camp theme for a year. And last year I had a lot of doodles in my mind and I sketched them in Procreate as stickers, but unfortunately that was deleted mistakenly by me. So I had a few things on my head at that time, and I really didn't want to go with the rainy theme because I know that rainy seasonal doodles were not in my head at that moment, and that's why I think I'm very lucky that you guys chose the summer camp theme. For the illustrations, I wanted to go with some essentials for the summer camp, which are torchlight, binoculars, and a fire pit. So I think that the illustration doesn't look realistic, but I know they look like a torch or binoculars or fire, so I'm happy with it. And I think I always cared of making this summer camp or any camp theme. I believe that I've made camp theme in December, I guess in 2021, and that one is not a cup of my tea. It was basically a very challenging for me to draw this fire without any reference and straight out of my head. So I believe I did a great job to do the illustration without any reference. Honestly speaking, I just have looked some of these illustration when I post the poll on my Patreon to choose from one. I think that's all, and I did a pretty good job. So here, after making these illustrations, I was quite unsatisfied with the torch color because the fire was yellow or orange and the torch is also orange, so I should have colored the torch with pink or brown here so that it looked cohesive with the rest of the illustrations, and the pink should not be outcast. I always try to correct every mistake that I make in my bullet journal on my Patreon printables, so I believe that it looks good in the sticker sheets that I've made. And that's it for this whole tracker. And I also wanted to fill up the spaces in the top left corner, so I added this banner writing tracker, and it looks quite well. I'm not doing workout in this month again, but I believe that it will work for August, like I'm trying to do my best in July. So yeah. So the next spread I'm making is my content planner and planning spread. Basically, the planning spread is a spread where I write all of my thoughts for my content planning, shop planning, and other stuffs, so that I can dump my ideas in that spread and later I can work on them. And that's why the whole spread might look little empty right now, but after using the whole spread, it looks very clumsy and filled out. But I wanted to add a little illustration in the bottom, so I'm adding this wooden banner which I was inspired from Noting Journal, and I really didn't want to add any other illustration in this little space so that I can write more. And besides that, I'm making my content planner with 1-column calendar layout, and I believe I've been doing this for ages if you're following me. But if you're not following me, I would like to tell you that the content planner is basically a spread where I schedule my YouTube, Instagram, and other social media platforms. But basically I concentrate on Instagram and YouTube, which is my primary social media accounts for my artistic life. So yeah, and for the illustration, I am going with this lantern, which is basically called hurricane in Bangla. And I have seen this in my household when I was a child, but it wasn't that much widely used in Bangladesh anymore. And it's in the museum as well. So I tried to pull out the illustration look like that, and I really like how this illustration turned out, because I'm also not good at drawing lanterns or this hurricane. To make the whole spread looks more practical and cohesive with the colors and doodles, I just added these 2 illustrations in this whole spread of planning, and I also added a little calendar in the side of the content planner so that I can track out the dates and dates here. And I believe this helps me a lot while planning out my contents or planning out my dates. That's it for the simple planner spread. And the next spread I'm making here is my weekly spread. For the weekly spread this month, I've gone for a very simple layout, which is basically my go-to. And basically this layout is much more simple. So I don't think that I'm going to use this spread in the first week, because I have a few pages left in the previous month, and I'm going from the second week because I'm going to use the first weekly with my July setup, and that has a specific reason to go with the consecutive weeks together, because I have quite a few things to plan out together. So that's why I'm not going to write the days or the dates here, and later I will fill them up when I am going to use this spread. I think this is going to be for the second week. That's why I have made a banner here like the planning spread, and here I have wrote week with a hanging 2 on it, and underneath it I'm spacing out a few lines to write any notes or tasks which will represent that week. So that's it for this whole weekly spread as well. That's it for this whole setup as well. So I hope you like this setup, because this is one of my without reference or out of my head illustrations here, and I hope you've enjoyed this whole video. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this. If you do, please give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing to my channel, and comment your thoughts in the comment box, and also comment with a fire or camp emoji to let me know that you have watched till the end. I hope I will see you in my next video, which is going to be another fun video. So yeah, bye guys.